The first hint of the Vrythans' arrival came as a ripple in the communications network of the United Earth Federation. At first it seemed like a routine anomaly, an unidentified signal from beyond the known star systems. But as the days passed, the anomaly grew, manifesting into a steady pattern of massive energy waves moving toward the Sol system. Humanity had faced strange phenomena before, but this was different. The readings were too precise, too controlled to be random. Someone or something was approaching with intention. On Earth, scientists gathered in the towering glass spires of the Orbital Science Complex above New Geneva. Dr. Leora Kane, one of humanity's leading xenobiologists, studied the incoming readings with quiet fascination. Her dark eyes scanned the data, absorbing the enormous energy signatures that dwarfed any human-made vessel. "They're enormous," she said, her voice calm but serious. "These ships, they aren't just large. They're structured. There's intelligence behind every formation." Her colleague, Admiral Ryland Tovik, nodded gravely. "We've tracked other civilizations entering our space before, but nothing like this. They are not scouts. They're not negotiators. They are, well, I don't know what they are, but they are coming here for something." As the fleet emerged from the depths of interstellar space, it became visible from Earth with the naked eye. Thousands of sleek, silver-black ships shaped like crescent moons moved in perfect formation. They radiated energy that made the sky shimmer with unnatural colors, a phenomenon never seen before. People across the world paused in awe and fear. News channels struggled to broadcast the spectacle, as every camera and satellite captured the moving city of stars descending on human space. Despite their awe, humanity did not panic. The United Earth Federation had spent decades preparing for first contact. Diplomatic protocols, contingency plans, and interstellar defense strategies were all in place. But even seasoned leaders felt a sense of unease. The Vrythans were known across the galaxy as conquerors, beings who absorbed civilizations into their dominion. Many expected humanity to be just another footnote in their long history. The Vrythans' first message arrived shortly after they entered the solar system. It was a simple transmission devoid of emotion yet commanding in tone. "Humans of Sol, identify yourselves. Your presence is noted. Stand down or be assimilated." For a moment the room fell silent. The word assimilated carried centuries of fear across galactic history, but humanity had learned to remain composed in the face of unknown threats. Dr. Kane leaned toward the communication console. "They expect fear. They expect submission, but we can show them who we really are without aggression." President Tarek Solis of the United Earth Federation addressed the Vrythans from the orbital assembly platform, his voice steady and full of authority. "We are humans of Sol. We welcome contact and dialogue. You are entering our space, and we extend the courtesy of peace. Let us understand one another before assuming hostility." The Vrythans paused. In their thousands of years of conquest, they had rarely encountered such calm in the face of potential annihilation. Their initial calculations had placed humanity at a primitive technological level, slightly advanced but far below their own. Yet the very act of diplomacy, the measured tone and clarity of intent, confused them. For the next several hours, the Vrythans hovered in orbit, scanning, probing, and observing human cities, infrastructure, and even orbital stations. What they found was puzzling. Human colonies on Mars, Titan, and beyond displayed technological innovation, cultural richness, and political structure that rivaled some of the Vrythans' older worlds. Humans had built enormous energy grids, deep space transportation networks, and a sophisticated communication web connecting countless planets. Even stranger, humans did not act defensively. Instead of hiding or preparing weapons, they demonstrated knowledge, creativity, and cooperation. Engineers openly showed alien observers advanced propulsion systems, while artists displayed holographic exhibitions of human history and culture. On board one of the Vrythans' command ships, Commander Vrikath watched the displays in disbelief. They should not be this advanced," he murmured, his elongated fingers hovering over a control panel. "Our records mark them as a young species, primitive, unremarkable. Yet they show wisdom," another Vrythan replied. "They display ingenuity in ways that surpass many civilizations older than ourselves." "How can this be?" Commander Vrikath's eyes narrowed. "Prepare deeper scans. There is something hidden here, something ancient." Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Kane and her team detected faint energy traces buried deep in the signals of distant stars. They seemed to follow a pattern almost like a map or a message, Could it be? One of her assistants asked nervously. Dr. Kane's fingers danced across the interface. It's a signal, but not from them. From us, or rather from those who came before us. Something has been trying to tell us, or remind us, of something very old. The Vrathans continued their attempts to assert dominance. They sent messages suggesting humans show their place in the cosmic hierarchy. But every move was countered, not with violence but with intelligence and creativity. Humans demonstrated engineering feats that made the aliens rethink their assumptions. One demonstration involved redirecting an asteroid fragment in orbit, using advanced gravitational manipulation techniques. To the Vrathans, it appeared as if humans were bending the laws of physics in subtle but precise ways. Every observation reinforced a troubling idea for the Vrathans. Humans were not only advanced, but also resilient, adaptable, and unpredictable. They did not behave like young species. They thought strategically, creatively, and morally. At night, the people of Earth looked up at the alien fleet in awe, unaware of the quiet tension playing out in orbit. Children stared with wonder, imagining that humans were about to meet beings from another world. Scientists whispered theories about shared ancestry and ancient knowledge. Leaders debated how to guide interactions with a species that had always been feared across the stars. For the Vrathans, their understanding of the galaxy was beginning to fracture. They had conquered, dominated, and catalogued countless civilizations, but humanity did not fit any model. Their calculations could not account for the depth, intelligence, or subtle power the humans displayed. Commander Vrikath began a quiet internal investigation, scanning human history, genetics, and energy patterns across the galaxy. Late in the night, Dr. Kane stood on the observation deck of the orbital complex, gazing at the alien fleet that hung silently against the black canvas of space. She felt a shiver of excitement. "They don't know yet," she said softly. "They have no idea what we truly are. And maybe that's for the best." Her assistant looked puzzled. "What do you mean?" Dr. Kane smiled faintly. "Humanity is older than anyone believes, stronger, smarter, and we've been here longer than we remember. They think they've arrived first. They think they are the most advanced. But history, real history, has a way of surprising the arrogant." The first night of the Vrathans' presence ended without conflict. Humanity had not raised weapons, nor had they shown fear. And the aliens, despite their might and experience, were beginning to feel something they had never encountered: uncertainty. As the Earth rotated beneath them, the Vrathans remained above, watching. They had expected an easy conquest. Instead, they found a species that was confident, capable, and strangely familiar. Something about the humans triggered a memory buried deep in the galaxy's collective history, something older than the oldest alien records. By the dawn of the second day, the Vrathans convened in their high council chambers aboard the largest mothership. Commander Vrikath addressed the council. "They are unlike any species we have catalogued. We cannot ignore the patterns. Their technology is advanced, yes, but it is not the full story. Their intellect, creativity, and their moral judgment all point to something we have never seen before. They are more than a young species, I fear. They may be the first." The room fell silent. The words hung in the air like a shadow. The idea was impossible, preposterous even, but the evidence mounted. Humans were older than they appeared, older than anyone thought possible. On Earth, Dr. Kane prepared for the next stage: deeper exploration of the hidden signals, the whispers of an ancient legacy buried in the stars. She knew that the Vrathans' underestimation would be their mistake. Humanity had survived millennia, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment when the galaxy would finally remember who had come first. And that moment, Dr. Kane knew, was approaching. The days following the Vrathans' arrival were filled with curiosity, tension, and quiet observation. Humanity continued to demonstrate its culture and technology, not with aggression, but with careful precision and subtle hints of power. Across the galaxy, the alien fleet scanned the human colonies, searching for weaknesses. Yet for every probe, every scan, the humans responded in ways that left the Vrathans puzzled. Dr. Leora Kane worked tirelessly in the orbital science complex. Every day she analyzed signals from deep space, studying strange patterns that appeared in the cosmic background. These signals were unlike anything previously recorded. They seemed to follow a deliberate code, and as she examined them, a pattern began to emerge. "It's a message," she whispered to her assistant Amir. "Not from them. From us, or rather from our ancestors." Amir's brow furrowed. "Ancestors? You mean humans? From Earth?" Dr. Kane nodded. "Long before written history, before even the first civilizations that the Vrithans know about, someone, or something, has been trying to reach us across time and space." Meanwhile, Commander Vrykath and the Vrythan Council were growing anxious. Their scans revealed human colonies with technologies they had never seen, and human behavior that defied logical predictions. The humans were cooperative, creative, and morally aware. They were not driven by fear or ambition alone. "It is impossible," muttered Vrykath. "They should be primitive. They should be weak. Yet they adapt, they innovate. They do not behave like a species of their age. Perhaps they are hiding something," another Vrythan suggested. "Something older, something primordial." This idea gnawed at them. Across the galaxy, the Vrythans had catalogued thousands of civilizations, noting age, technology, and social structure. Every species followed predictable paths, but humanity defied those paths. They could not fit into any known timeline. On one of the distant human colonies, Mars Prime, an archaeological team uncovered a series of underground chambers buried beneath the Valles Marineris. The chambers contained artifacts far older than the earliest recorded human civilizations. Strange devices, etched with symbols unrecognizable to modern humans, hummed with residual energy. Dr. Kane traveled immediately to Mars Prime to study the findings. As she entered the main chamber, the air shimmered with a faint golden light, and the walls seemed to pulse with history. "These artifacts are incredible," she said, running her hand over a smooth metallic tablet. "They predate anything we've ever found, not just on Earth but across the galaxy." Her team carefully documented the symbols, and as they did, faint energy readings began to activate. The symbols aligned with the cosmic signals Dr. Kane had been studying. It was as if the ancient message had been waiting for the right moment, waiting for humanity to be ready to understand it. Back in orbit around Earth, the Vrythans continued their investigation. They scanned human genetic data, social structures, and technological blueprints. Every discovery left them more uneasy. Humans exhibited unique traits: rapid problem-solving, resilience in extreme environments, and intuitive knowledge that could not be explained by known science. Commander Vrykath convened the council again. "We have underestimated them," he said firmly. "They are not merely survivors. They are elder beings, older than any records suggest. Our maps of galactic history are incomplete. Humans may have shaped more of the galaxy than we realize." The council members reacted with disbelief. To consider that a species they had dismissed as young could be the progenitor of civilizations was almost unthinkable. Yet the evidence could not be ignored. Dr. Kane, unaware of the Vrythans' internal debate, continued her work. She discovered that the energy readings from the Mars chambers formed a map pointing to several points in deep space, systems that predated even the oldest Vrythan colonies. The symbols suggested that humans had once traveled to these systems, leaving messages or artifacts behind, perhaps to guide future generations. "This is astonishing," she said to Amir, her voice trembling slightly. "We may have been part of a galaxy-wide network all along, a network that no one remembered. But why did we lose this history? Why did we forget?" Amir looked around the glowing chamber. "Maybe we were meant to remember only when the time was right. Maybe the galaxy was waiting for us to awaken again." The Vrythans, meanwhile, attempted to engage humans directly. They sent advanced probes and requested private meetings with human leaders, hoping to test their reactions. Humans welcomed them calmly, inviting them to Earth, Mars, and orbital stations. At every interaction, humans displayed intelligence and tact, never arrogance or hostility. At a conference aboard the orbital assembly station, President Tarek Solis addressed the Vrythans. "We are aware that you seek understanding of our civilization. What you see on the surface is only part of our story. Humanity is ancient, resilient, and capable. We value cooperation, knowledge, and discovery above conquest. If you wish to learn, we will teach. If you seek conflict, you will find yourself unprepared." The Vrythans were silent. Few of their kind had ever encountered such calm authority paired with confidence. For the first time, Commander Vrikath doubted the notion of superiority he had always taken for granted. Dr. Kane continued to decode the signals from deep space. Each discovery revealed fragments of human history that predated all known alien civilizations. Humanity had existed not just on Earth, but had traveled to other systems in ancient times. Their knowledge had been intentionally hidden, preserved for a future era when humans could once again guide the galaxy. "The evidence is overwhelming," she said to her team. "Humans are not only survivors. We are originators. We influenced civilizations long before the Vrythans even existed. We may have been the first in the galaxy." Across the Vrythan fleet, similar discoveries were being made. Scans revealed ancient structures on remote worlds built in human design patterns. Energy networks and mathematical structures matched human signatures. The Vrythans realized with growing shock that humanity's influence had reached far beyond Earth, far beyond what anyone had assumed. Commander Vrikath struggled to comprehend the implications. "If this is true," he said, pacing before the council, "then our understanding of the galaxy is flawed. We have been blind. Humanity, they were here before us. Older, wiser, stronger than any civilization we know," the council murmured among themselves. Some refused to believe it. Others were visibly shaken. To consider that every conquest, every calculation, every assumption of supremacy could be wrong was a blow to centuries of pride. On Mars Prime, Dr. Kane activated one of the ancient devices. A holographic map appeared, displaying star systems, energy flows, and symbols pointing to regions unexplored by any modern species. The patterns suggested that humans had intentionally left behind markers, guiding civilizations that would arise in the future. These markers, their instructions, she said, her eyes wide with awe. Guides, messages, the galaxy was never empty. "We've always been here, watching, influencing, protecting." Amir stepped forward. "Do you think the Vrythans will understand? Will they accept this?" Dr. Kane shook her head slowly. "They will have to. The truth cannot be denied. And when they do, they will realize how little they truly know." Meanwhile, the Vrythans attempted one final test. They probed Earth's energy grid, seeking weaknesses in human defenses, but what they discovered astonished them. The systems were interconnected in ways that combined technology, mathematics, and environmental harmony. Every attempt to manipulate or disrupt the network was met with seamless correction, as if the planet itself were alive with intelligence. "Impossible," Vrikath whispered. "Their systems. They anticipate us. They adapt instantly. They are not just advanced, they are aware." In orbit above Earth, the Vrythans began to reconsider their next steps. For the first time, fear mingled with curiosity. They had assumed humans were young, untested, and manageable. Now they faced a species that had been shaping the galaxy from the shadows, guiding civilizations with subtle influence, and hiding their true strength until the right moment. Dr. Kane returned to the orbital complex, looking out at the alien fleet, hovering silently above the planet. She felt a strange mixture of anticipation and responsibility. Humanity had survived millennia, hidden in plain sight. Now the galaxy was waking up to its presence, and humans were ready. She whispered softly, almost to herself. "They will realize too late. We are the first. We are the original. And the galaxy will remember us again." The sun rose over Earth, casting long golden beams across the land. Humans went about their daily lives, unaware that their history was about to reshape the galaxy. Yet in every city, every station, every laboratory, the quiet pulse of ancient knowledge stirred. Humanity's legacy, once hidden, was beginning to awaken. And the Vrythans, mighty conquerors across countless worlds, would soon discover that the species they had underestimated was not only equal to them, but had been guiding the galaxy from the very beginning. The first contact was not a battle. It was a revelation, and humanity was ready for the consequences. The Vrythans had begun to understand one thing. Humanity was unlike any species they had encountered. Their technology, their resilience, their creativity, it all pointed to a civilization far older and wiser than they had believed. Yet Commander Vrikath still doubted. How could a species so young, by their records, possess such depth and ingenuity? To answer this, the Vrythans decided on a test, a demonstration of power meant to measure humanity's strength and reaction. They chose the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter for their experiment. A massive fragment, the size of a small moon, was nudged from its orbit with precise gravitational manipulation. Their intention was clear. If humans failed to respond, it would demonstrate weakness and confirm the Vrythans' initial assumptions. On Earth, news of the asteroid's movement spread quickly. Dr. Leora Kane and her team were among the first to analyze the anomaly. "It's being pushed intentionally," she said, her fingers flying over the controls. "This isn't natural. Someone is testing us or threatening us." President Tarek Solis convened an emergency meeting with Earth's leaders and top scientists. "We need a solution that demonstrates our capabilities without provoking unnecessary conflict," he said. "We must show that humanity is capable, but we do not seek confrontation." Dr. Kane proposed a bold plan. Using a combination of gravitational energy manipulation and orbital recalibration, humans could redirect the asteroid safely, returning it to its natural orbit. It would be a demonstration of technological sophistication and strategic thinking, and it would send a clear message to the Vrythans. Humanity was not to be underestimated. The operation began from the orbital complex above Earth. Human engineers coordinated from multiple stations, linking their systems through a vast network of quantum communication channels. Satellites, energy collectors, and orbital propulsion units worked in perfect synchrony. From the Vrythan fleet, Commander Vrykath watched closely, expecting failure. The humans had never attempted a project of this scale before, and any mistake could have catastrophic consequences. Yet, as the hours passed, something astonishing happened. The asteroid, slowly but surely, began to shift back into its correct orbit. Energy fields shimmered along its surface, guiding it with precision that seemed almost instinctive. Every adjustment was calculated, every movement accounted for. "Impossible," Vrykath muttered, his eyes wide. "They are controlling it with precision. They anticipate the variables." On the surface of Earth, millions watched the operation through live broadcasts. Children cheered, scientists held their breath, and leaders silently acknowledged that this was not merely a demonstration of technology. It was a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and collective effort. When the asteroid finally settled safely in its orbit, a ripple of awe passed through both humans and Vrythans. The demonstration was clear. Humanity could think strategically, act decisively, and execute plans flawlessly under pressure. It was not brute force that had succeeded, but intelligence, creativity, and adaptability. Commander Vrykath felt a rare emotion for a Vrythan, respect mixed with fear. They had assumed humans were predictable. They had assumed humans were weak. They had assumed they could intimidate a young species. Every assumption had been shattered. "Prepare the next assessment," Vrykath ordered the council. "We must understand their full capabilities. This is no ordinary species. We need to learn everything we can before making any decisions." Meanwhile, Dr. Kane continued her work on the signals from deep space. The patterns in the messages began to make sense, revealing a network of knowledge left by humans long before the Vrythans or any other known species existed. They had built a foundation for civilizations to arise, guiding evolution, technology, and culture across planets. "These messages are instructions," she explained to Amir. "They're teaching us how to survive, how to build, how to explore. And they were designed for this exact moment, when humans could reclaim their place in the galaxy." Amir looked out the window at the hovering Vrythan fleet. "Do you think they realize what we are?" Dr. Kane shook her head with a faint smile. "Not yet. And that is why we must show them, not with words, but with action. We must demonstrate what humans can do." The Vrythans, frustrated by their failed intimidation, tried another approach: psychological pressure. They projected images of worlds destroyed, civilizations conquered, and species assimilated. Their intention was to test human fear, to see if panic would destabilize them. Yet humans responded with calm analysis. Leaders discussed strategies not with fear, but with rational thought. Scientists analyzed the data, finding ways to protect not only Earth but surrounding colonies. Engineers improved defense grids without panic or chaos. Humanity's response was composed, efficient, and morally guided. On the Vrythan command ship, Vrykath spoke to his officers. "They do not respond as we expect. Their fear is minimal. Their logic is strong. They adapt. They resist panic. They are different." Another Vrythan officer replied cautiously. "Perhaps we underestimated them. Perhaps they are not just strong, but elder. The word elder echoed in Vrikath's mind. Could it be true? Could these humans, these seemingly young beings, be older than any species recorded in the galaxy? Dr. Kane and her team made a breakthrough with the ancient signals. They discovered energy nodes scattered across multiple star systems, evidence that humans had once traveled beyond their home planets thousands of years ago. These nodes acted as both markers and guides, revealing human ingenuity, foresight, and the ability to manipulate energy on scales that the Vrithans had never seen. They built these long ago, Dr. Kane said, her voice full of wonder. They anticipated the rise of other species. They designed systems to guide civilizations. Humans have always been more than we believed. The Vrithans scanning these same systems were stunned. Patterns emerged that traced human influence across the galaxy. Some structures predated even the oldest known Vrithan colonies. They realized that humanity had quietly shaped worlds, seeded technology, and guided species long before the Vrithans had risen to prominence. Commander Vrikath faced a dilemma. To continue aggression would be foolish. Humans had proven their strength, intelligence, and moral authority. Yet to step back and accept humanity's place as the elder species challenged every notion of superiority the Vrithans had held for millennia. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Dr. Kane prepared for the next phase, a demonstration of human creativity that could not be ignored. Using the combined energy of Earth's orbital stations and the ancient nodes in distant systems, she planned a holographic projection visible across the galaxy. The projection would show humans' history, achievements, and influence in a way that left no doubt about their role in the galaxy. As the Vrithans watched from their fleet, the projection began. Lights shimmered across space, forming maps, symbols, and images of planets, inventions, and civilizations influenced by humans. It was a visual story of humanity's resilience, intelligence, and hidden history, a history the Vrithans could no longer deny. This is impossible, Vrikath whispered, staring at the display. They have done all of this, and yet they appear calm. They are not arrogant. They are not conquerors. They are elder. They are original. The realization spread across the Vrithan fleet like wildfire. Every officer, every scholar, every observer understood the truth. Humans were not a young, primitive species. Humans had always been present, quietly guiding, shaping, and surviving across the galaxy. The Vrithans had misjudged them at every turn. On Earth, Dr. Kane looked at the holographic display and felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. Humanity had survived countless millennia, hidden in plain sight, preserving knowledge and wisdom. Now they were no longer invisible. The galaxy was waking up to humanity's presence, and humans were ready to take their place as guides and protectors. President Solus addressed the Vrithans directly. You have witnessed our response. You have seen our history, our knowledge, and our abilities. Humanity does not seek conflict, but we are prepared. We have endured, observed, and learned for millennia. Now the galaxy will remember the original elder species, humanity. The Vrithans remained silent, humbled by the display. They had expected fear, submission, and weakness. Instead, they found strength, wisdom, and a calm authority that they could neither conquer nor manipulate. Dr. Kane turned to Amir with a quiet smile. This is only the beginning, she said. They are beginning to understand. But the galaxy still has much to learn about humans. Above Earth, the Vrithan fleet hovered, no longer confident, no longer assured. They had attempted to test humanity. They had sought weakness, and for the first time in their history they had found none. Humanity had passed the test, and the Vrithans would never forget it. The Vrithans had been watching humanity for days, their confidence eroded by every interaction. What had begun as a simple mission of observation and testing had turned into a revelation far beyond their understanding. Every scan, every probe, and every interaction revealed a truth they could no longer ignore. Humans were not just advanced, they were ancient, original, and quietly powerful. Commander Vrikath convened the council aboard the largest mothership. The alien chamber was vast and metallic, with walls that shimmered with energy data streaming from countless sensors. Every officer looked tense, aware that the very foundation of their knowledge about the galaxy was being challenged. We have scanned the human colonies, their histories, and the energy networks they control, Vrikath began, his voice measured but tense. Every civilization we cataloged pales in comparison. Their technology is impressive, yes, but it is not the most striking. It is their age, their subtle influence, their ability to guide and survive that is unprecedented. A senior officer spoke, her antennae trembling slightly. Commander, are you suggesting that humans are older than even the records of the core worlds? That they existed before us? Vrikath nodded slowly. I am suggesting that humanity is the original elder species. They are the progenitors. They have quietly shaped civilizations across the galaxy, long before we rose to power. Murmurs filled the chamber. Some officers shook their heads in disbelief. Some turned pale, realizing the gravity of the revelation. To acknowledge the humans as elder species was not merely a matter of respect. It was to admit that every conquest, every assumption of superiority had been built on a flawed foundation. Back on Earth, Dr. Leora Kane worked tirelessly in the orbital science complex. Her team had traced the cosmic signals to several star systems, far beyond the reach of any known species. The patterns revealed networks of energy nodes and markers, built by humans in the distant past. These nodes contained knowledge, instructions, and guidance designed to awaken future generations when they were ready. These markers, Dr. Kane explained to President Solis and her team, were left intentionally. They were meant to be discovered at the right time. They show us where we came from, what we are capable of, and how we can influence the galaxy responsibly. Humanity has always been the elder species. President Solis listened carefully. His eyes reflected both pride and the weight of responsibility. If this is true, he said quietly, then every interaction we have had with the Vrythans has been under their false assumptions. They thought they were superior, and now they will understand their error. The Vrythans, meanwhile, attempted one final probe into human history. They used advanced sensors to scan Mars, Earth, and distant colonies simultaneously, mapping every structure, artifact, and energy source. What they found was undeniable. Humans had influenced evolution, guided civilizations, and seeded knowledge long before any known alien species had reached the stars. This is overwhelming, Vrikath said, stepping back from the data display. They were here first. They have guided life, technology, and society across the galaxy, and they have done it quietly, without domination, without conquest. The Council fell silent. In all their years of exploration, conquest, and cataloging, they had never encountered a species with such deliberate restraint and intelligence. Humans were not aggressive conquerors. They were guardians, observers, and guides. On Earth, Dr. Kane prepared to reveal the full history to the Vrythans. Using advanced holographic technology and the ancient energy nodes, she created a projection visible across space, even to the Vrythan fleet. It was a story of humanity's origins, their early travels beyond Earth, and their quiet influence on civilizations across the stars. As the Vrythans observed, the story unfolded before their eyes. Images of ancient human vessels traveling to distant star systems appeared, along with maps of energy nodes and artifacts left for future generations. Symbols of human culture, technology, and philosophy shone like constellations in the projection. Commander Vrikath felt a strange emotion, one that alien logic had no word for: awe. He had expected fear and submission. Instead, he felt respect, admiration, and an unsettling awareness of his own ignorance. They have done all of this, he whispered, and they have done it without arrogance, without conquest. They are elder in every sense. A young officer spoke, her voice trembling. Commander, what does this mean for us? For the Vrythans? Vrikath turned to her, his expression serious. It means that everything we believed about the galaxy is incomplete. Everything we thought we understood about dominance, power, and superiority is wrong. Humanity is the original elder species. We must acknowledge this or risk our own irrelevance. On Earth, President Solis addressed the Vrythans directly. His voice was calm, firm, and full of authority. You have seen our history. You have seen our knowledge, our influence, and our actions. Humanity has always been present in the galaxy, quietly guiding and protecting life. We do not seek conquest, but we will not tolerate underestimation. Recognize us as the elder species, and we can work together for the benefit of the galaxy. Deny this truth, and you will find that we are prepared for any challenge. The Vrythans were silent, overwhelmed by the revelation. Their arrogance had been shattered. They had underestimated humanity, assumed they could intimidate or manipulate, and now faced the undeniable truth. Humans were older, wiser, and stronger than they had ever imagined. Commander Vrekath finally spoke, his voice steady. We acknowledge the truth. Humans are the elder species, original, ancient. Your influence is clear. We will no longer see you as merely another young civilization. We will learn from you and respect your position in the galaxy. Across the fleet, officers nodded, their expressions mixed with awe and newfound respect. For the first time in history, the Vrithans were humbled by another species, a species they had assumed was inferior. On Mars, Dr. Kane and her team celebrated quietly. Humanity's patience, intelligence, and moral wisdom had won the recognition of the galaxy's most formidable conquerors. The discovery of humanity's ancient role was not just a triumph of science, it was a triumph of character. President Solis looked out from the orbital assembly station, his gaze steady and resolute. We have waited for this moment, he said to his advisors. The galaxy is waking up to humanity's presence. Now it is our responsibility to guide, protect, and share knowledge wisely. The Vrithans, humbled but eager to learn, began discussions with human leaders. They asked questions, sought guidance, and studied human history in depth. Unlike other species they had conquered, humans did not respond with anger or superiority. They shared knowledge carefully with patience and wisdom, teaching the Vrithans not only about technology but about strategy, morality, and cooperation. In the coming days, a new understanding formed between humans and Vrithans. The galaxy, long dominated by assumptions of strength and conquest, began to recognize the quiet authority of humanity. Humans were no longer just a species, they were guardians, guides, and mentors to the stars. Dr. Kane continued her work, connecting ancient nodes, decoding hidden messages, and preparing humanity for the next stage of galactic interaction. The Vrithans, now respectful allies, watched closely, eager to learn from the species they had once underestimated. As the sun set over Earth, golden light spilling across oceans and continents, a quiet pride filled the hearts of humans everywhere. They had survived, endured, and thrived, patiently waiting for the moment when the galaxy would finally understand their true nature. Humanity's place as the original elder species was no longer a secret. The Vrithans had realized it too late, and the galaxy would never be the same. The revelation had transformed the Vrithans. Once mighty conquerors, they now approached humanity not as masters but as students, seeking guidance from a species they had long underestimated. The knowledge that humans were the original elder species reshaped every assumption the Vrithans had held about the galaxy. For the first time, a civilization confronted their own limitations, and the galaxy began to take notice. On Earth, President Tarek Solis stood before the assembled leaders of the United Earth Federation, representatives of distant human colonies, and the humbled Vrithan envoys. The room was filled with anticipation. Millions across the solar system followed the transmission, witnessing the dawn of a new era. Today, President Solis began, his voice calm but firm. Humanity is no longer just a species among many. We have endured, we have observed, and we have learned. For millennia, we have quietly guided civilizations, preserving knowledge, protecting life, and fostering growth. Now the galaxy is awake to our presence, and we are ready to act as guardians, not conquerors. The Vrithans listened in awe. Their thousands of years of conquest and pride had never prepared them for this moment. For the first time, they realized that power did not lie in force alone, but in intelligence, moral wisdom, and patience. Dr. Leora Kane stood beside President Solis, presenting a holographic map of human influence across distant star systems. Each glowing node represented an ancient human outpost, a marker of guidance left for civilizations yet to rise. Every system traced a path of subtle mentorship, showing how humans had shaped the galaxy quietly, without domination. Commander Vrekath, who had once assumed humans would bow before superior force, now studied the map in silence. All this has been hidden in plain sight, he murmured. They have guided life, technology, and thought for millennia. And yet, they have done it without arrogance, without conquest. Across the human colonies, excitement and pride filled the hearts of people. Children gazed at the stars, imagining the ancient humans who had first traveled across the galaxy. Scientists marveled at discoveries yet to be explored. Engineers and inventors were inspired, knowing that humanity's legacy was vast, ancient, and full of potential. The first act of humanity's guardianship was one of cooperation. The Vrathans, guided by human advisors, began working alongside human engineers and scientists to stabilize volatile star systems. Resource disputes between newly discovered civilizations were mediated through human-led councils. Knowledge was shared freely, not imposed. Every action demonstrated the principles humans had followed for millennia: intelligence, patience, and ethical responsibility. Dr. Kane led a team in the deep space sector known as the Obsidian Cluster. Ancient nodes there had not been touched for thousands of years, yet they contained technology capable of influencing star formation and energy flows. Humans activated the nodes, carefully balancing energy across the cluster, preventing cosmic instability that could have endangered countless worlds. "This is what it means to be guardians," Dr. Kane said, watching the energy stabilize. "We are not here to dominate. We are here to preserve, protect, and guide. Every action we take must reflect wisdom, not arrogance." Back on Earth, President Solus addressed both humans and Vrathans. "The galaxy is vast and challenges will come, but together we can ensure stability, growth, and cooperation. Humans have always been patient observers. Now we take our place as guides. The Vrathans, humbled but willing, are among the first to join this mission of stewardship." For the Vrathans, the change was profound. Their fleet, once symbols of conquest and fear, now became symbols of cooperation and learning. They trained alongside humans, studied human history and philosophy, and adapted to a new understanding of power, one rooted not in dominance, but in wisdom and responsibility. On Mars Prime, Dr. Kane oversaw the construction of the first interstellar council chamber, a place where humans, Vrathans, and representatives of other species could meet and coordinate galactic projects. The chamber was massive, blending human technology with designs inspired by ancient nodes. Energy flowed seamlessly through the structure, providing communication and guidance across light years. Children from Earth colonies were invited to witness the first council session. They marveled at the displays, learning about human history, Vrathan culture, and the delicate balance of responsibility that came with power. Stories of ancient human explorers inspired them, showing that intelligence, courage, and ethical choices were more important than brute force. Meanwhile, ancient signals continued to reveal new insights. Humans discovered forgotten star systems, hidden energy nodes, and civilizations influenced long ago by humanity's quiet guidance. Each discovery was carefully studied, not for exploitation, but to understand, preserve, and protect. The Vrathans, once feared across the galaxy, now approached humans with humility. Commander Vrikath, standing beside Dr. Kane during a training session, said quietly, "We believed ourselves to be the pinnacle of evolution. But you have shown us the truth. You are elder, original, and wise beyond measure. We will follow your guidance not because we are compelled, but because we respect it." Dr. Kane smiled. "We do not ask for blind obedience. We ask for cooperation, understanding, and shared responsibility. That is what makes guardianship strong." In orbit above Earth, the ancient nodes glimmered with renewed energy, connected to new human outposts and Vrathan stations. Across the galaxy, civilizations once influenced by humanity began to sense the change. They did not yet understand fully, but they could feel a stabilizing presence, a guiding hand that was ancient, wise, and protective. President Solus reflected on the journey. Humanity had endured millennia of challenges, survived without arrogance, and preserved knowledge across the stars. Now, as the galaxy awakened to their presence, humans had a choice: to dominate or to guide. They chose the path of guardianship, setting an example for all civilizations. The first major initiative under humanity's guidance was a program to share knowledge openly. Vrathans and humans collaborated to provide education, technology, and sustainable energy solutions to developing civilizations. Worlds that once struggled with scarcity or conflict began to thrive under careful mentorship. The galaxy's expansion was guided, ethical, and harmonious. Dr. Kane and her team discovered that humanity's ancient influence had always been about balance. Early humans had left subtle markers to teach responsibility, collaboration, and innovation. Now those lessons were being applied openly, with the galaxy learning from the original elder species. In the final moments of the day, as the sun set over Earth, golden light reflecting across oceans, mountains, and cities, humanity's quiet pride shone across the stars. Children laughed in the streets, scientists studied ancient and modern knowledge, and leaders prepared for a new era of galactic stewardship. The Vrythans, once conquerors, now walked beside humans as partners. They had learned humility, respect, and the value of wisdom over force. Across the galaxy, civilizations began to sense a new order, guided not by fear but by intelligence, patience, and moral authority. President Solis spoke one final time to the Assembly and the galaxy beyond. "We are humans. We are ancient, wise, and responsible. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek dominion. But we will guide, protect, and ensure that life, knowledge, and civilization thrive. We are the original elder species, and we embrace this responsibility with humility, courage, and hope." Dr. Kane stood beside him, gazing at the stars. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy is vast, and there is much to learn, much to protect. But humanity is ready." The stars above shimmered with possibility. Planets glowed with new energy. Civilizations stirred with curiosity and hope. And in every corner of human space, a quiet, powerful truth resonated. Humanity had always been the first. The Elder, and now the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Vrythans, and indeed the entire galaxy had realized too late. Humans were the original elder species, and humanity was ready for the future.